You know, there was a story that I heard you speak about your anesthesiologist critiquing and mocking. Do you mind sharing that story? Because I found that to be beautiful.
This was a young man who had von Hippel-Lindau. This is a disease in which you develop these very vascular tumors in the central nervous system. And he, unfortunately, developed one right in the middle of the pons, part of the brainstem. It's considered an inoperable area. It's like a coaxial cable. Everything does something. None of the adult neurosurgeons would operate on him. Unfortunately for me, his wife was a pediatric neurosurgery nurse who worked on the floor where all my patients were, so I couldn't get away from him.
She was watching all the miracles going down. She goes, "Can I speak to you for a second?"
And she said, "You're going to have to operate on my husband." And I said, "But I'm a pediatric neurosurgeon." He says, "He act like a child."
Were you nervous about doing that? And what gave you the faith to do that? All the other doctors didn't because they don't want that responsibility and that death in their hands. What gave you the great faith? Was it through the Word of God when you were reading, or was it just a feeling you had?
Well, I pray about it. I ask God for wisdom. I recognized that there was no good alternative except for surgery. They were people of faith, both he and his wife. We did a lot of praying before the operation. It was a very difficult operation. A lot of new blood vessels had grown into the area that make it more complex. But I found an area on the brainstem under high-power microscope, made a longitudinal incision trying to parallel the fibers, and put a little micro probe into the brainstem, see if I could feel a difference. And I did. I felt where I felt the tumor was. Put in a little micro forceps and grasped it, start delivering it and pushing the tissues away from it. The anesthesiologist announced that the evoked potentials were flat. Those are the brain waves, the electroactivity that's coming from the brain. He said, "You killed him. I told you were going to kill him." There was gloom in the room, but I finished taking the tumor out. The evoked potentials never came back. He went to the ICU on full life support. His wife and I prayed a lot. I went home. When I came in the next morning, he was sitting up in the bed, had been extubated, and was telling jokes.
Wow. He said, "Lazarus, come out."
Wow, that is incredible.